Hello and welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn and this is the February reading for Cancer Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. This month I'm using the Star Tarot spread as an homage to our Aquarian season and being in Aquarius season. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for post notifications. The first card that came out for you guys Cancer this month is the Ace of Cups in the reverse, and this is in the position of your your current situation, right? So it's what you're currently going through or will be going through this month. And the Ace of Cups in reverse is really talking about a little bit of a repression when it comes to your emotions. You might be going through something that you aren't really sharing. You are kind of in your head, overthinking a situation. This is really a card for kind of like self-love and kind of like instead of starting outside of yourself, I feel like this is the time for you to kind of be more focused on kind of caring for yourself at this time, to kind of go inside and inward and really focus on like your intuition. And so some of you might be doing that. But I wanted to pull a clarifier because I like to pull clarifiers for cards that are in the reverse just to get a deeper look into what this card means. I'm using the Grand Tableau Lenormand Oracle deck for the clarifications this month. And the cards that came out for the clarification of the Ace of Cups is the Bird card and also the Bear card. And so the Bird card really talks about like nervous energy, gossip, a little bit of chattiness. It could also mean anxiety and worry, and also just a lot of excitement, right? Birds, you always see them tweeting, like twittering around, and they're usually in a group. And so that's the type of energy that comes associated with the bird. In conjunction with the Bear card, though, the Bear card is about power and strength. And so this is like a sense of there being a lot of talk and chatter surrounding a bear individual or person. And the bear is usually representative of like an older parental energy, maybe like a older family member. It could be an older male person, or just a guardian that takes care of you. And so this could mean that if you are a parent, this nervousness or this energy is being directed towards you because you are in the position of a power. So you might be kind of yielding power over your child. And so that is kind of like at the center of like the gossip. So there's something being spoken about or something being talked about in terms of someone's power, or an authority over you, or you might feel like someone has power and authority over you, or you have power and authority over someone else, right? And so that is kind of like the topic of conversation. There's also the sense that this person, for some of you, is this person that has power and authority over you is also the reason why you're in your Ace of Cups in reverse. So this person and their dominance over you has you kind of like falling back a little bit, or there's a sense that you feel a way about the way that they deal with you or the way that they handle you. And instead of speaking about it, you're kind of repressing that, and your voice is kind of silent in terms of the way that you truly feel about the way that they deal with you. And so that might be kind of like the issue that you find in the present moment for this month. In the position of your emotions, the Star card came out. And the Star card is basically representing that in your emotions, you are kind of feeling a little bit hopeless, right? A little bit disconnected, a little bit detached. And this, like I said, this is going back to the Ace of Cups, obviously, right? So you already repressing your emotions, but I feel like you are also, on top of repressing your emotions, you're feeling a little bit hopeless, right? And pulling the clarification card, the bear came out again. And so a lot of you are dealing with this energy of a person who is kind of overbearing, right? They are bossy. You might kind of feel like they're exerting their power over you. They could have a short temper. And so they're kind of like pushing you around with their dominance. They might use subtle methods to get you to kind of do what it is that they want you to do. And I feel like whatever the dynamic is, and again, like I said, it could be a boss, it could be someone that's just bossy, or someone that has a little bit of a stronger temperament than you do, or they're just louder than you are. And so I kind of feel like you feel unheard, unseen. And quietly you kind of feel like it's hard for you to get out of the situation because they are so dominant, right? So they just kind of assert themselves over you and over your own decisions that you want to make. And, they could even be like a bully or something, or they could just be bullying you. This could be, like I said, a boss, a manager, supervisor, like someone in your family. It could be a spouse, a partner, that has you kind of, in this particular state. In the position of your beliefs, the card that came out was the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is basically like a sign of like a delay. And so that there's a delay in the message. And so some of you might not want to share with this particular overbearing person the way that you feel. There is a sense that you're waiting because you feel like this is like a temporary thing, and eventually they'll stop doing what they're doing. A lot of this has to do with the way that they speak to you, and the way that they interact with you. And so I wanted to pull a clarifying card to kind of, like I said, to get a little deeper with what that means. And the clarifying card that came out is the whip. So yeah, that makes complete sense. The whip card is really talking about like someone's behavior towards you that is basically fueled by negativity. And so if you're in a position or you're in a place where you feel like you're dealing with someone that's overbearing, that's a little bit of a bully, that is like really exerting dominance and control over you, this could be like a verbally abusive situation, or this could be because with the Eight of Wands, it's talking about the delivery, right? And so the delivery is coming at you like a whip. So they could be verbally abusive to you, or they can be physically abusive to you, especially if they're dominating and exerting control and power over you. Their motivation is to basically inflict pain onto you. So this is basically like a indication that what they're doing, they're intentionally doing. So you're delaying your message to speak to them about it because you feel like, okay, they don't mean it, or, they'll stop, or, they're just going through whatever, or, like that's in the terms of like a relationship, or even if at work, you feel like your boss is like belittling you and they're talking to you crazy. It's not done out of an absence of understanding of what they're doing. They know what the hell they're doing, and they doing that shit on purpose, okay? Because for whatever reason, it's like their way to get back at you, or this could just be their personality, right? So like I said, your belief is that you should delay your communication, in terms of like talking to them about the way that you feel, because you're kind of like justifying it in your to yourself, their actions, but they're not doing it because they don't realize it. They're fully aware of what they're doing, and they're doing it on purpose. So for those of you who are, kind of like getting your resources together in order to kind of move away from the situation, to get yourself into like a better place, both physically, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually, This is a good time to kind of get your plans in order and to move forward. The Eight of Wands is really talking about a delay. So if this is a delay that you are self-imposing on yourself because you're waiting for something else to happen, this is something that you should be aware of, right? So like I said, the Eight of Wands is also talking about like frustration, and so you might be feeling a little frustrated because you have to kind of like deal with this energy, and you're trying to explain it to yourself or try to justify it to yourself. But like I said, they're not doing it by accident. It is intentional. The fourth card that came out of the deck is in the position of the heart of the matter, which is really like kind of like the thing that is the center of everything that's going on with you. And that is being represented by the Queen of Swords. And so there's two things with this particular card in this position. Um, you are basically in a position where this is the person that you're dealing with. The Queen of Swords in the reverse is considered to be someone who is very mean, very cold-hearted. They speak the truth, or they use their ability to use language to kind of tear you apart. And like I said, this is intentional, right? They kind of come at you in a way where they really just don't have any like compassion for you, and they just say whatever out their mouth. However it comes out, it's intended to hurt, it's intended to inflict pain. And so this could be a potential person that you're dealing with, and they could be an Aquarius, they could be a Libra, or they could be a Gemini individual, right? Or again, like we are in a Aquarius season, so this like is really, like I said, happening for this month during Aquarius season. So this it could also be a representation of the fact that you're not clear on your vision. It kind of goes back to you kind of like with being delayed in your messaging to this person that was showing up with the Eight of Wands, because you don't necessarily want to say anything. It's like you are allowing this person to kind of like dominate and control the dynamic of the situation, because you're really kind of like hesitating on saying what you want to say, because you don't want to make things worse. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want them to blow up. You don't want to disrupt the relationship in any way, because it is a relationship that's important to you. And so it's kind of like taking a toll on like your confidence, your ability to feel like you can really connect with the way that you feel, and to be able to verbalize the things that you feel to this person. Because like I said, this person seems to be really just like I said, they're hell bent on kind of like dominating the situation. And so it's kind of hard for you to really be able to even say what you want to say, because they're really not giving you the opportunity to do that. This card is really about truth, right? It's really about speaking the truth. And so I feel like for a lot of you, there has to be a point where you come to realize that you have to speak to yourself and tell yourself the truth about what's happening in this dynamic, and what it is that you need to do, and the plans that you need to make in order to kind of like deal with the situation. To some degree, I feel like some of you, and this is not all of you, might feel like you deserve this because you might have done something in the past that you feel like you're trying to like make up for. And so that's the reason why you're not really saying anything, because to some degree, I feel like you're kind of internalizing the language and the things that are being said to you, as though you are completely to blame for the situation that you're in, or the situation that you might have done in the past that has kind of led you to be in the space that you're in. The clarification for the Queen of Swords is the Fox card, and also the Child card. The Fox card is really kind of like a sneaky type of energy. It's also one of being kind of like distrustful and like being suspicious. And so this could be you, and this could be the other person. And that's probably leading to a lot of the disagreements and the arguments and the fights that you're having, and a lot of the opposition, right? It can also be talking about previous suspicious behavior that is leaving the person to feel justified in the way that they handle you, or vice versa. Like, you guys could be in something new, or like you are restarting a situation, or this is a new beginning, but there's a lot of residual issues from previous behavior that is causing a lot of the arguments. And it's also the reason why this person is purposefully kind of like trying to hurt you, right? At the end of it, it does appear that when a person does this and when a person behaves in that way, it could be due to their own need to survive, or their own need to feel like they need to take care of them, or it's to exert their ego on the situation. And a lot of the times, like, I always feel like when people are in situations like that, like, why do you even stay? And so for some of you, this could be due to the fact that there's a child in the mix. And so this child is the reason why you could be arguing, but also the reason why you guys feel like you have to kind of deal with the situation, because there is a child that needs to be taken care of and is also in the mix. And so that's kind of, the issue. There is an issue here also with the idea of self-care, right? It's about kind of self-protecting and taking care of yourself. And that's also a theme that came out with the Ace of Cups in the reverse, is really just to kind of go internal and really tend to yourself and figure out what it is that is causing the dynamic that you're in, but also to be in a position to really speak your mind and say what it is that you don't like, and what it is that you feel like needs to change. And if that isn't something that can happen, then like I said before, then to kind of like institute a plan that involves you kind of navigating away from this. Because at the end of the day, the fox is really here to show that this is also about survival. And it's also about kind of being aware of your situation and being aware of the dynamic that you're involved in. In the position of the subconscious, and the thing that will eventually come out, the thing that is hidden but that will eventually be revealed to you, that card that is coming out is the Hierophant, right? In reverse. And it's interesting because the Hierophant in reverse and the Star are on the other side, and are on the same side, right? Which is also like the side that indicates like where this the potential future is, and future actions that should be taken. And so the Hierophant is really talking about going against tradition, right? A lot of you might feel like you're in the situation because you feel like you have to be, because, like, again, you have a child with this person, you could be potentially married to this person, and so as a result of that, there is like a duty, or you feel a duty to kind of stick with the situation, because of what you feel like you have to do. Like, it's a part of that tradition. It's a part of what in terms of how, in navigating life with a partner. With the Child card that came out before, there is like a sense of you feeling like you aren't sure if you can do life or do the situation without this person. If this is a relationship, you're also, if it's a job, then you feel like you don't know how you're going to survive or take care of yourself if you leave, right? And so the Hierophant is really an opportunity for you to kind of sink in a little bit deeper into your spirituality, and tap into your spirituality to help you navigate it and deal with the emotional aspect of the situation. But it's also a card that indicates that you need to kind of stop searching for external approval and really kind of deal with the God that is within you, that is guiding you and trying to direct you to make a decision that you kind of seem like you're not trying to make because of all the other factors that I've mentioned. And for clarification, the card that came out was the Heart card and also the Cloud card, which is an indication that there is love here for this person. Like, you love them. You have genuine affection for this person. But what the cloud card is indicating is that due to your love for them and due to the amount of time and energy that you've spent with this person in the situation, you are a little clouded, like your thought process is a little clouded. And so it's creating a little confusion, a little bit of uncertainty with what you should do, and where you should go and how you should proceed forward. So that type of affection for them is kind of like debilitating you in terms of you moving forward, you know, and also putting you in a position where you feel like you're dealing with it because you love them. That's also another element. There is genuine love there. Also, for some of you, like, this could be a Taurus individual, because the Hierophant is also a representative of Taurus, right? The card that comes out for your hopes and your dreams, and ultimately I feel like your hopes and your fears, is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. And the Six of Pentacles reverse feels like that energy where you give too much of yourself, right? When you have it to give it, and you're willing to share, and you're willing to, kind of help other people out, that's an upright extension of the Six of Pentacles. But in the reverse, it's really talking about giving too much, like giving what you don't have, right? But it's also a thing where you feel like you can't, or you can't, or you are uncomfortable with taking help from other people. You might not necessarily want to reveal what your situation is, and like the dynamic that's going on. And so it feels like a thing, like I said earlier, with you repressing your emotions and repressing the information, and not sharing that information with anyone, because you don't necessarily want them to know what's going on. If this is like a situation at home, which I really feel for most of you, it is a situation at home, there's like a level of embarrassment. And so you don't necessarily want to share that. And so you're keeping it to yourself. And so you're not allowing anyone to help you because they don't know that you need help, right? And so, you really are in a space where you're giving a lot, you're giving a lot of yourself away. And that is a fear for you. Clarification, the Scythe and the Sun came out, which is, again, we're talking about the fear. I feel like the fear is a sudden ending to the situation that is basically just, there's no hope for anything positive coming out of it. There's like, it's a sudden ending that basically just kind of eliminates everything, and you don't get the opportunity to have that that love that you want, or that joyful situation that you want with this person, or just just kind of like having it end in a way where you end up unhappy, right? Or you end up in a situation where you're unable to take care of yourself, or financially your life is a mess, and now you're by yourself. And I feel like that is a big fear for you, and that is also another reason why you stay in the job, at the relationship, because of those fears. The Scythe is also one of those elements in the Lenormand deck, which has like an alternate understanding. It's also about like hasty decisions, and like a warning, right? And so again, there is this idea of delay and not trying to do anything too hasty, and so that is good. But with that, there needs to be some sort of preparation and some planning, right? The Scythe is also like a warning of an accident of some sort, an accident that can create a sudden, final, swift ending or closure to a situation, right? And so there is like the sense that there has to be some sort of closure to the situation, to kind of like end it out. The Scythe is also about reaping rewards, like harvest time. So there is like some Virgo energy here, but it's also about punishment. So when we reap rewards, we can also reap punishments. And so we're looking at both sides of that coin in this situation, depending on the role that you're playing here. Like, you could be the bully, or you could be the aggressive person that we're talking about, right? And the other person is the person that's kind of dealing with you on the opposing side. And so whichever situation or whichever part you play in this, there's rewards to the situation, but there's also punishments. And so with the scythe comes a definitive measure of executing an ending and a closure to a situation that needs to come to an end. And at the end of that, it's the opportunity to kind of take stock in it, in the situation, and basically look at the things that were done, the measures that were taken to end up in the situation that we end up at the end, and to really kind of do like a final judgment call. I feel like the scythe is equivalent to like the justice card, right? So it delivers a final and fierce ending to a situation. That is a fear of yours, but there is a potential for that to happen because this card is showing up for a reason. In the final outcome, the card that came out was the Five of Wands. Fighting, 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 always fighting, right? And I mean, this ultimately means that whatever the situation is, it's going to end up in fighting. It's like a conflict, and just disagreements, right? That really have no final outcome. There really is no purpose. It's just basically just to have conflict and just discord, right? So it's like you're unable to really see each other's points of view, or you're unwilling to see each other's points of view. And so the fight just continues. And the clarification here for the Five of Wands is the key, and the Cloud card is coming up again. So again, this is about confusion. So ultimately, there is a need and a desire to find a way out, right? To kind of unlock that door that gives us an out of the situation. But there is a little bit of a confusion about this newfound freedom that you'll get with this out, but also trying to find a solution to the confusion. So with the Scythe card, again, I feel like there is going to be something that actually brings this whole situation to a close and to an end, and you might not be ready for it. So if you're not ready, you need to get ready, because ultimately, if you aren't ready when it happens, you're not gonna be prepared. And so I feel like whatever is coming, it could be, like I said, an accident, but something is going to occur that's going to really basically just shut the whole thing down. And so, because you're not going to get out of this any other way. Conflict should ultimately lead to some sort of change. It should lead to some sort of improvement. And if that isn't happening, you're really not getting anywhere. You have to really think to yourself, what are you doing with this one beautiful life that you have? Do you want to spend it in conflict? Because if you do, then fine. But if you don't, then you need to figure a way to kind of resolve the situation or to move away from the situation. Otherwise, the universe is going to end the situation for you. And if it does do that, you want to make sure that you are prepared to be okay if you need to be on your own. Okay? And that is the end of the reading, guys. Please leave a comment below and let me know how this is like working out in your life. If this reading resonates in any way, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for post notifications. Follow me on my socials, and I will see you soon, Cancer.